In this lesson, we'll be adding elevations to our model. We looked at elevations before and played around with them a little bit, but we never actually got to create one. Well, here's our chance. Elevations are provided to allow you to add a straight-on 2D looking view of a vertical surface of a wall. They are easy to place as well. The objective of this lesson is to create a few elevations and modify the elevation marker properties. Open the file called Chapter 4 and follow along. The first thing we need to do is zoom in on the corridor and make sure that this elevation marker is gone. Make sure you're on Floor Plan Level 1 and follow along. Pick a window around the marker in this direction. Hover your mouse over it till you get the move sign and pick a point. Notice that you can freely move it. Zoom out by using your middle finger on the wheel button. And pan over, and let's put this somewhere where it's going to be a little more useful. Hit escape a couple times, select the little hat just to make sure that we're looking at the model, and we are. As a matter of fact, why don't you open it right up just to make sure we're looking at the back of the wall. What's nice about sections and elevations is the fact that we can double click on any one of these sections and go through the model. We can double click on this section and get right to any point of the model we want. Under Floor Plans, go back down to Level 1. On the View tab, let's go to Elevation. Notice the behavior of the elevation. It's kind of sticky in a way. When we bring it next to the building, it actually will look at the face of the building that we're closest to. Even on a radial wall, it kind of follows the wall around. What we want to do is put this elevation marker right here, aiming at this wall. Once you're around the spot that I'm at, go ahead and pick a point right there. Hit escape a couple times and select the elevation marker. It's looking into here, but let's grab this grip and just move it up a little bit so we're seeing the inside of the wall. Double click on the elevation to open it up. Now we can see we have the wall. Change the detail level to Fine. Let's rename it in the Properties dialog. Scroll down till you see View Name, and let's call it West Wing Southeast Elevation. Hit Apply. The next task is to add an interior elevation. Let's go to Level 1 under Floor Plans. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's go to Elevations again, but this time in the Properties for the Type selector, let's go down to Interior Elevation. Notice it's round. What I'd like to do is place this elevation right here so it's pointing upward. Pick that point and then hit Escape. Zoom in on the elevation and select the little helmet. Zoom out and just pull in the extents a little bit. This gives us a look right through the entire corridor. Let's bring it in just a little bit so we don't have any gaps and we can see the back wall here. Now that your elevation's in, notice that it says Elevation 1-A there. It's kind of in the way. We can change that, but let's go to the elevation first by double clicking on it. Make sure we have everything we need. We do. We have our first floor. We have a lot to do, but this is a great start. While still in the elevation, let's scroll down in the Properties and give it a new name. Elevation 1 doesn't quite work, so let's call it East Wing Corridor North Elevation. East Wing Corridor North Elevation. Let's make some more elevations, shall we? I'm going to go all the way over here to the East Radial Entry. Now I want to add some elevations. So, if I click my elevation button, let's make sure we're on Interior Elevation, and to get it set, I just want to beam it at this straight wall. If not, it might be a little bit askew if we try to beam it at another wall. So I'm going to pick this wall here, and I'm going to hit Escape. I'm going to zoom in on it. I'm going to pick a window around it, and I'm going to move this just like I moved the exterior elevation, out to somewhere that makes a little more sense. I'm going to hit Escape a couple times, then I'm just going to pick the bubble. I'm going to turn on every one of these elevations. With all the elevation markers turned on, let's make some slight adjustments. I'm going to select the top one, and it looks like it's going a little farther than I like it. I just want to see the atrium area. So I'm going to pull this into here. I'm going to pull this over to here. I'm going to push my view back up into the wall. I'm going to do the same for all 4 elevations. I select it. I make my view a little bit more reasonable by just grabbing the grips. Grab the bottom one. This one really went down the hall. I'm going to pull that in, pull that back a little bit. I have one left. I'm going to select it. I'm going to pull in these elevations. This one maybe will go past the wall. How does that sound? Perfect. Hit escape a couple times. Next thing we have to do is name them. I'm going to select this top elevation. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to give it a name. Instead of elevation 1A, I want to call it East Wing Entry North Elevation. It'd be a good idea to copy this text to the clipboard by selecting it and hitting Control C. Hit apply. Now let's grab this one over on this side. Let's scroll down to the name. Hit Control V. I'm going to call this East Elevation. I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to grab the one on the bottom. I'm going to go to the properties. I'm going to hit Control V. I'm going to call it South. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to change it to West. Perfect. One last thing we should probably do before we leave this is change how incredibly ugly these look. They're impossible to read. We can change that. So what I want to do is go to the Manage tab. Go to Settings, Additional Settings. Let's go down to Elevation Tags. The elevation mark for the tag, so let's change it to 1/2 inch circle. So now we know that the type is a 1/2 inch circle, and we can change what this is. We want to change this tag, elevation mark body circle detail number. Hit OK. That's a lot better. What's going to happen is, once these views are put on the sheet, this is going to read the view number, and this is going to read the sheet name in the middle. Much more streamlined and efficient. Elevations are crazy useful, and add another level of coordination to our construction documents. Use them often, but please name them in the project browser.